Hello everybody, my name is Michael. This is an off-the-shelf review of King of Tokyo, a dice-based push-your-luck style of game for 2 to 6 players, ages 8 and up, plays about 30 minutes or less. The designer is Richard Garfield, came out in 2011. In King of Tokyo, players are going to be taking on the role of the classic giant mutant monsters and robots we grew up watching as kids who are trashing the city of Tokyo. It is a push-your-luck style kind of game that uses dice and cards. The objective of the game is to be the first giant monster to get 20 points or to be the last giant monster left standing. Players will be rolling dice in an effort to gain points, to gain energy to purchase more cards, to injure the opponents who are either in Tokyo or outside of Tokyo, or to heal up their wounds if they're outside of Tokyo. But I'll explain how all that works in a moment. King of Tokyo retails for about $45, and for that $45, you're actually getting some pretty decent quality components. Take a moment to show you the insert. The box insert is actually pretty decent, holds most of the components pretty well. The wells aren't quite deep enough to hold the cards or anything, so you can get a lot of slippage, especially if you spin the box around, but actually as an insert, actually does pretty decent hold most of everything together for the game. The game does come with a board. It's a pretty small board, about the size of the box. Really not even needed to play the game, but it's a nice little touch. It's made out of pretty thick cardboard. It's wrapped around so you don't have to worry about it peeling anytime soon or anything like that. Little bit of artwork, and I'll explain the difference between Tokyo City and Tokyo Bay when I actually explain how to play the game. The game also comes with monster cards. Each one of the monster cards has a picture of the monster and the name. Again, the artwork is actually really good, awfully cartoony and everything like that, but it does fit the theme very, very well. The game uses spin dials to track everything. They're actually very decent quality. They're not flimsy, not cheap. They're not going to bend or fold anytime soon. There's one for the life on the lower right corner, and again, one for the points. Whoever has the score of the 20 is going to be the victor, and also for the life bar, whoever runs out, last person standing. Again, I'll go over that when I explain how to play the game. The game also comes with 66 cards. The artwork on them is actually pretty darn nice. Again, it's really cartoony and everything like that, but really thematic. A lot of stuff is going to bring back a lot of childhood memories if you're like me and you grew up on the super monster type of movies like Godzilla and King Kong. You're going to see a lot of throwbacks to that stuff. It's really nice. Artwork on the back of the cards. Card quality is pretty decent, not the thickest, definitely not the thinnest. I've had the game for about a little over 2.5 months now, and I haven't had any problems with the cards fraying. They're definitely not losing anything on the corners, and I have played this game quite a bit. My kids love this game. Anyways, the game's cards aren't fraying at all. They're holding their artwork pretty darn well, and they're holding up with lots of shuffling, lots of playtime. The game comes with cardboard stands representing each one of the giant monsters. It's just a cardboard stand, nothing too fancy, but again, pretty cool artwork. Pretty darn thick, though. If I can get the camera to focus just right, you can see it's pretty thick. Actually, it's about as thick as the game board, so you can see that's actually pretty darn decently made there. Next thing I want to show you are the dice. These dice, I don't know if the video will do it justice, but these are actually pretty large dice. If you want to compare them to standard dice that comes in your average Monopoly game or anything like that, and for people who know, those are the Quarrier dice. You see how tiny the Quarrier dice are compared to the normal dice and the King of Tokyo dice. You see that? Actually, really nice dice. The dice are engraved, so the dice should last quite a while. Nice large images, easy to read. Numbers are very easy to read. Very nice job done there. The game also has a whole bunch of little plastic cubes to represent energy. They're just made of little tiny little pieces of the plastic, but they're pretty hard plastic, really nice and durable. And finally, there are some cardboard tokens to represent the various effects that you're going to get from the cards when they're played during the game. Overall, the component quality is actually really good for the game. Not a bad retail price for what you get in the box. And of course, you know, with some good internet searching, you're probably going to save yourself a little bit of money. I actually got my copy for $32 online. Before I explain to you how to play King of Tokyo, I'm going to take a few moments to explain how all the components are used in the game. We're going to start with the game board. Game board is pretty small, but it has one small basic use, so it serves its purpose. Basically, in Kingdom Tokyo, your monster can either be outside of Tokyo, and there can be an unlimited amount of monsters outside of Tokyo, up to however many players are playing the game, or your monster can be inside the city of Tokyo. You're going to notice there's a spot here called Tokyo Bay, and that spot is only used in a 5 or 6 player game. So if you have 5 or 6 players, that means up to 2 of these giant monsters can be in the city of Tokyo. In a 2, 3, or 4 player game, you're only allowed to have 1 monster in the city of Tokyo at any time. And the difference of this is, if you're in the city of Tokyo, you're attacking all the monsters that are outside the city of Tokyo. And if you're outside the city of Tokyo, you're attacking the monsters that are inside the city. So in a 4 player game, these 3 would be against this monster. In a 5 or 6 player game, these 3 would be versus these 2, and these 2 would be versus 3. Of course, as the game plays, the monsters are going to be switching their positions. Next thing I'm going to show you are the dice. You're going to notice that the dice come in 2 colors. The green dice are extra dice that only enter the game when certain cards give you the ability to bring those dice in the game. So in the basic game, unless there's cards in play, changing the rules, there are only going to be 6 dice, and those are going to be a black dice. There's different things that can be on the dice. You're going to see numbers. You're going to see lightning bolts. You're going to see a claw mark. And the final symbol you'll see on these is the heart. A heart allows a monster that is outside the city to heal. If a monster is inside the city, rolling a heart does actually nothing for the monster at all, so it's a waste of a roll. A claw allows you to do 1 point of damage for every claw that you roll, and that damage is going to be directed at the monster who does not share your position. So if you're outside, you're going to claw the monster inside Tokyo. If you're inside Tokyo, you're going to claw against all of the monsters that are outside. So in a 4 player game, it's a very important distinction that if you're inside the city of Tokyo and you roll 1 claw, you can do 1 damage to every single monster that is outside the city of Tokyo. That's the counterbalance to being inside, where if you're inside, you don't heal, but if you're outside, you do heal. Lightning bolts, I'll explain to you when I bring up the cards, but basically every time you roll a lightning bolt, for every lightning bolt, you're going to get an energy token. And the final thing you'll see on the dice is the numbers. There is a 3, there is a 2, and finally there is a 1. These are used for scoring points. To score the points, you must get 3 of a kind. So you have to have 3 1s, 3 2s, and 3 3s, and you score the face value of those dice. So 3 3s will be worth 3 points, 3 2s will be worth 2 points, 3 1s is worth 1 point. For each additional die that you roll that matches, so if you roll 4 3s, it's 1 additional point, not another 3. So if you get 5 3s, you score 5 points. If you get 6 3s, you'd score, quick math, you'd score 6 points. But if you rolled 6 1s, it would be 4 points. 3 for the extra 1s, plus 1 point for rolling 3 1s. Makes 3s better than 2s, which are better than 1s. I'm going to take a moment to explain the energy cubes. Energy cubes are used to buy the cards that come in the game. There's a card cost in the upper corner here. This card, for instance, would cost 6 energy. You can store up energy between turns, so one turn you roll 2 energy bolts, next turn you roll 3 energy bolts, following turn you roll another energy bolt. You'd have a total of 6 energy, and then you can purchase this card with those energy. You save up the energy until you actually spend them to actually purchase the card, or if a person plays a card on you that forces you to discard the energy. The cards are going to be 2 kinds. You're going to see a card that says discard, and you're also going to see a card that says keep. The difference of these is a discard card, as soon as you buy it, it takes effect and is discarded. Whereas a card that says keep, as soon as you buy it, you're going to permanently keep it, and its effects are going to continue from round to round to round until another effect causes you to discard it. The cards, again, will have the cost in the upper corner, the effect down below, and again it'll say keep or discard. Finally, each player is going to get a monster board. In the lower right hand corner is your life counter. Your upper left hand corner is going to be your point value. Point value starts at 0. The first person to 20 points is the victor. Or if you manage to be the last monster left standing and all the other monsters have a little skull, you are declared the winner. Finally, there's some extra little cardboard tokens. The only time these are used is if there's a card in play that tells you to use these. They're pretty self-explanatory and the card tells you exactly how they're used. King of Tokyo is extremely quick and easy to set up. Each player is going to choose a giant rubber mutant monster, 50-foot tall giant robot or creature. They're going to set their life dial to 10. Notice that your life dial can go beyond 10, but unless a card gives you a special ability, your life can never go past 10, even if you roll hearts. Again, unless you have a card in play. You're going to set your point total, which is a star, at 0. You're going to take your matching monster card. You're going to take the deck of cards, shuffle it up, take the first top 3 cards from the deck to form the starting draw pile or purchase pile. Energy cards or energy tokens are going to be brought out within easy access of all the players, and the 6 dice are going to start in play. Notice at the beginning of the game, none of the monsters start in the city of Tokyo. All players start outside of the city of Tokyo. That's pretty much how easy and simple setup is. You're now ready to play. Each player's turn is played over 4 phases. On a player's turn, they're going to take all 6 of the dice. They're going to roll the dice. And they're going to decide which dice they want to keep and which ones they're going to re-roll. You can re-roll your dice up to 3 times. And basically what you do is you decide, I'm going to keep these dice and I'm going to re-roll these. And you decide which dice you're going to keep. And then you roll again. And by the 3rd roll, you have your final result. Of course, anytime if you roll something and you decide that you keep dice, you want to re-roll them, you can always pick them back up. So you start with a roll, decide to keep these dice and these dice. And normally my dice are never this lucky, so this is one of those times I actually want to be playing King of Tokyo. Anyways, if you have this lightning bolt, you decide for some crazy reason you don't like those extra points, you can actually pick them up and re-roll them, or re-roll the extra claws or anything. Just remember, you are only allowed 3 total rolls. After the 3rd roll, you take whatever results you have, and then you move on to the phase where if you have energy, you have the chance to buy cards. If you don't have enough energy or don't want to buy cards, you have your end of turn phase, which is basically a quick little basic cleanup phase. Now, it wouldn't be called King of Tokyo if you couldn't become King of Tokyo in the game. So the way you enter the city of Tokyo is anytime you roll a claw, if there is nobody in Tokyo, you have to move into the city of Tokyo. It's not optional. The bonus of being in the city of Tokyo is, as you'll see down here, as soon as you enter Tokyo, you score 1 victory point. Next to it, you're going to see the number 2 next to a star. I didn't mention this earlier, but anytime you see a star, that means a victory point. If you can stay in Tokyo for an entire round, which means you enter and all the other players have taken a turn, at the start of your next turn, you're going to get 2 victory points. Anyways, the only way to enter Tokyo, as I said, is to roll a claw. If there is already a monster inside the city of Tokyo and you roll a claw, the monster inside the city is actually going to take a point of damage for every claw that you roll on your dice. And then the monster in Tokyo, and this is where you get your push your luck element of the game, has a decision: do I want to stay in Tokyo or do I want to leave? If you roll a claw and the monster decides to stay, they take the damage. If you roll a claw and they decide to leave, they still take the damage, but you, as a person rolled a claw, have to go inside the city of Tokyo. Again, it's not optional. Anytime you roll a claw, if there's nobody in Tokyo, you have to move in. And if there's somebody in Tokyo and they decide to move out, the person who rolled a claw or claws has to move into the city of Tokyo. Basically, players are going to keep playing round and round until, like I've said, all the monsters but one are defeated, or one monster manages to reach 20 victory points. And as soon as you reach those 20 victory points, you are declared the winner at the end of your turn. Now that I've shown you how to play King of Tokyo, I'm going to take a quick moment just to show you what a sample game would look like. We're going to start with Gigazor, we'll call him Godzilla just because that's what he is. The player starts off by rolling all his dice. Move these so you can see what I'm actually rolling. See that I got 2 3s, a 1, 2 lightning bolts, and a claw. I think I'm going to take the 2 lightning bolts and the claw and the 3s and push my luck, see if I get another 3. Nope. Then I'm going to take, I'm going to take one more try, see if I can get a 3. Nope, I didn't. Gigazor is not hurt, so the heart is not going to help me. The 2 3s don't do anything because I didn't get a third 3, so I am going to move into Tokyo since there are no monsters in Tokyo. And then I'm going to gain 2 energy. Now it's the Mecha Dragon's turn. See, I have 2 claws, 2 1s, a 2, and an energy. I think I'm going to reroll all these. Heart does me no good since I'm not hurt. Claw would be great to hurt Godzilla. And I think I will. 2 3s doesn't help me. 3 claws is more than enough to hurt Godzilla, who's going to go from 10 down to 7 lives. And I actually forgot to give Godzilla 1 victory point when he entered the city of Tokyo. And then the lightning bolt is going to give him 1 energy. Godzilla's going to push his luck. He's going to stay inside the city for 1 more round, hopefully. Now time for the alienoid. Hearts aren't going to help him since he's not hurt, so we'll re-roll those. Kind of liking the claw, kind of liking the energy bolt. Don't like that 1. Well, now we have 2 2s and 2 1s. Let's see if we make some points. We got, good roll. 2 energy, 2 victory points, and 1 claw. Gigazor is going to take 1 more point of damage, and he's going to be down to 6 lives. He's going to push his luck, and he's going to stay inside Tokyo City for his round. Alienoid's turn is now over. It's now back to Godzilla. It'll be his turn to roll the dice, and since he stayed in Tokyo for an entire round, he gains 2 victory points, bringing him up to 3. He has 6 lives left, and it's now time for Gigazor to take his turn. King of Tokyo is an extremely family-friendly game. From the simplicity of the rules to the great family-friendly artwork to the large quality of the dice, the ease of reading the dice, it's actually a very extremely family-friendly game. The artwork isn't anything that you need to be concerned about with showing the kids. It's very, very cartoonish, nothing overly violent. It's actually almost comical in a way if you kind of look at it as that aspect. The rules are, like I said, extremely easy to teach. It's actually so simple that my 4-year-old, now granted he actually knows how to do math. He knows addition and subtraction, which is pretty good for a 4-year-old, but even he knows how to play this game. Granted, he's not going to be able to figure out, well, you know, there is a little bit of strategy of the game, and it's a little bit harder for his younger mind to figure that out. He just knows that anytime Daddy's in Tokyo, he's going to make sure Daddy gets a whole bunch of claws, and Daddy's going to lose the game. Confidentially, both my kids pick on me when it comes to board games, but you know what? I enjoy it. I have a lot of fun with it. King of Tokyo plays with 2 to 6 players, which makes it a great family game. It's actually great as a 4-player game. Still good as a 3-player game. As a 2-player game, you're pretty much just doing a back and forth, and I'll call it boring as a 2-player game. Some people may disagree with me, but if I'm wanting to play a 2-player game, there are so many much better 2-player games on the market right now. Great thing about King of Tokyo, it plays all the way up to 6 players, making it also a great party game. The theme is light, the gameplay is very quick, and that's actually another bonus for making this a family game. A lot of children have a hard time sitting still for longer, 45 minutes, an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours. You're not going to get those kind of board games to the table with younger kids. This game plays quick. I've seen it end in 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Okay, I'll be honest. When I play with my kids, I always go for broke and push my luck a little bit too far, and they seem to like to capitalize on that. But again, game is extremely family friendly. Text is very easy. Numbers are very simple. Very basic mathematics in the game. Adding up 1, 2, 3, 4, subtracting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The trick is there is a little bit of a push your luck aspect to the game, and sometimes a child is going to make a decision that's probably not the best decision they should have made at that time, and they're going to lose. They may get a little bit upset with that, but The older kids aren't going to have any problems with that. Again, I think King of Tokyo is a fantastic family. The big question is King of Tokyo worth your gaming dollars? I think King of Tokyo is a fantastic game for what it is. It's not overly deep, it's not overly complex, but what it is, it's a classic, basically a retake on classic gameplay of Yahtzee with a little bit of extra fun thrown in there, and one heck of a fun push your luck kind of element that can punish you if you push your luck a little bit too far. But the nice thing about the game is it's just fun. There is a little bit of a negative to the game. There is, player elimination, and if you are a little bit too gutsy, or if the dice just don't happen to like you one round, it's very easy to be knocked out of the game. It's actually kind of funny, but I've actually had a few times I play where I've said those magic words, there's no way I'm going to get knocked out in one round in this game. I can perfectly survive. And then I spend the next 15 minutes watching everybody else play King of Tokyo. To me, I'm okay with that. Again, I've said it before, this game is very fast playing. It's a great party game. It has a great player count for it. I wouldn't recommend it as a 2-player game. Even as a 3-player game, I can find better 3-player games. It doesn't mean it's a bad game. It just means that it's not at its best there. It's a great game for families. The only people who may not like it are people who don't appreciate a push your luck style kind of game, or people who are just going to basically see it as Yahtzee with cards. I disagree with that description of the game. I think there's more to it than that. I think anybody who likes a good push your luck, quick playing game, whether it's for party time, for family time, or just for game night, I think King of Tokyo is a great game to add to your board game collection. Thanks for watching. My name is Michael. Take care.